Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the stalled landing. So normally when you come in for landing in an airplane, you're moving pretty quick, and usually the stall speed might be something like 40, but you're doing like 60, which is significantly more speed than you really need in order to safely land. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take advantage of our slow flight skills, which is simply flying the aircraft very slow, to put the aircraft down in the shortest distance possible. The trick here, of course, is that you're going to have to use a less speed than usual, and your whole idea here is to have the stall horn go off right about the time your back wheels touch. This requires a prodigious amount of back elevator in order to use. So as you're practicing this technique, double check to see where your elevator is when you're landing. If it's here, not bad. If it's all the way back here, you probably did it right. So your goal here is to time it so when you hear the squeak, you just about hit the ground. So let's see exactly how close I can get to this today. So I'm going to go ahead and unpause. I'm going to go ahead and drop my flaps. I'm already on a nice short final here, so I'm going to put my flaps all the way down. You can see by the two little VASI indicators there on the side, it's actually a Pappy and Hartford for those of you guys who are curious. We're simply going to make our way down. A little bit of a crosswind going on today. The wind's coming basically due west, but nothing too unusual. We use a little bit of crab here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the aircraft down to 60 knots, which is getting a little slow for this airplane. But again, not too much trouble, as you're going to see. So the trick here is basically when do we reduce the power? Because if you reduce the power early, you're going to end up in a situation where you're going to have no energy and you're going to pancake. If you reduce the power very late, you're going to tend to float like you would normally do. So the trick here is you want to wait until the air just about under the ground. I usually say about 10 feet off the ground before bringing back the power. All right, 60 knots. We're coming in like a little helicopter right now. Obviously, this is a pretty bouncy helicopter because of the wind. I've actually got quite a bit of right foot in right now to try to keep us nice and balanced. Don't get too slow, otherwise you're going to be practicing your stalls as opposed to practicing your landings. If it's just a little bit more power. Now, when you start getting slow, you need to apply a lot more power in order to arrest the descent of the aircraft. It's going to be a little different. I can see I'm starting to float up here. All right, 60 knots. Remember, we're still at 40. All right, I'm going to pull the throttle to 0. And now we're just going to coast down to the ground here. So now when you pull this nose up to put this thing down, it is going to have no energy. So you're going to want to hold it just until you hear the stall warning. Lift the nose up, lift the nose up. You're going to hear the warning. And we are down. So that's the trick. Now, to make this challenging, of course, you have things like ground effect. But notice when we finally did stop the plane, we really hit the ground there, and we stopped basically over here. So it's an absolutely awesome short field technique. Enjoy.